All right, you guys have to excuse me. I just finished my workout. I do this thing where if I'm procrastinating, which is normally only Mondays because it's so busy, I will like schedule my workout where I have just enough time. So then I have to press play and I cannot take a break. So I'm like, am I breathing yet? I don't know. All right, awesome. Hey, Rachel, she's in the car. Hey, Kaylee, Joanna. We got Stephanie on the phone. Awesome. All right, so I'm so pumped. This is our very first, finally, exclusive. I mean, maybe we've had one at the beginning, but I wanted to switch back to this because I felt like, with the other call, we had tried changing the times, but then no one was getting on. So I think this is better because we'll actually get to talk more directly and, specifically to what you guys are going through and how things are going. So this will just be what we do moving forward. So it'll always be the last Monday of the month. So then we can always kind of know, and at the same time, 9 o'clock y'all's time. So you can spread the word even as you start to sign up more coaches and get them on the call. And it'll be really cool, I think, to watch to see how this call grows. And I think we could easily get more on this call than the Dare to Dream call. So I think we should just challenge those people in the US and Canada and let the UK take over. So I would be excited about that. So as far as announcements, let's see. I know half of you guys, who is coming to Summit on this call? Carlin, Rachel, Chetan. The hand went from here to here. We don't want that. All right. Well, as many of you guys can come, I definitely want you to let me know if you're coming or when you make that final decision and anything I can do to help get you guys there. It's definitely the event of the year. I know, obviously, it's a lot bigger of a commitment for you guys with that international airline ticket, but, excited. And if you do come, of course, I'm going to have a Dare to Dream shirt waiting on you and lots of screams and hugs and confetti or something. So really excited about that. And then how many of y'all just went to, I was curious, how many of y'all just went to the Carl event? How many of you guys made it there? I know Chetan did. Oh, awesome. Joanna, you did too? Cool. I heard it. Rachel, are you raising your hand? I can't tell. Okay, no. I'm like, you are in the dark, but I couldn't tell if that was like a car or your hand. Okay, cool. So I heard that went amazingly. And then, of course, y'all know we have beach bars coming on the 6th. And I'm super pumped that they're actually launching in the UK simultaneously, which is almost like a first for anything. Even Canada normally is like months behind anything we get. So that was our first question at the CAB meeting, actually, was like, what about Canada and the UK? And they were like, same day launch. And we're like, what? Did we hear you right? So finally, that's definitely good news. And I hope that y'all are sharing your hearts out. A couple days left with has anyone heard anything about, I know right now y'all have 20 pounds off every pack. Is that correct? And have you heard about them continuing that or anything, Carlin?
Yeah, they're continuing it for April.
Really? That is awesome. Okay, good. That is great news. I'm like so jealous. So I hope that y'all are out there sharing your hearts out and letting people know that, because that is an amazing deal and obviously the first of its kind. But any other announcements? I'm trying to think. Am I missing anything that you guys can think of or that you want to share before we turn it over to our guest speaker?
Super Saturday's coming up, 7th of April. I don't know what is going on locally. I was going to be hosting one, but obviously my world went kablooey, so I haven't been able to host one. So I don't know what's about. Chetan, are you off to Super Saturday somewhere?
I don't know yet.
I know there's one in Portsmouth, which will probably be the closest to you. I don't know if there's one in London.
Yeah, I know. I've got. I was speaking to sort of Eva on that one and the Portsmouth one, but I'm not sure which one I'm even able to go to at the moment. But I will try.
Yeah, I know it's going to be super exciting at Super Saturday because they're going to be showing the new Joel workout program. Also, what 2B Mindset is coming, which we're going to talk about on the Dare to Dream call tonight some. And then what else is happening at Super? Oh, I mean, the beach bars are being launched. But yeah, we do have someone that just hopped on the call, and it happens to be her birthday, Alicia Ross. Do the
Alicia!
Woo! Happy birthday!
Thank you.
All right. So anything else that we're missing before Chetan shares with us? All right. Well, I am super excited. I contacted Chetan since he is our very first Dare to Dream UK Diamond. He has been signing up coaches, and he's going to share with us kind of what he's learned, what he's doing, and whatever he really wants to share. So Chetan, we're excited. I'm excited to hear from you. And so just take it away for a couple minutes and share what you got.
Great. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Jessica. So yeah, it's been a bit of a, well, should I say, up and down journey for me, to be honest. Even get to sort of time but again, I think most of you guys will know. I mean, the reasons why kind of I decided to even start coaching. So it kind of initially started from basically the way it happened to me in terms of my journey from before even Beachbody coming into my life. Although I've been doing it for about 3 to 4 years, just the Beachbody side of things. Yeah, what I've actually learned since doing that and then since coming to the launch, it's the reason I've managed to figure out my why. I've got a long list, so I'm not going to go through it on this call because it will take more than probably half an hour, 45 minutes to talk about it. Maybe I'll post it at some point during the year. So yeah, so again, so the thing is, doing the workout programs, I mean, they helped a lot to actually understand what the whole concept is. I didn't know anything about coaching. Didn't have a clue what coaching was about until the actual launch date. I knew what Shakeology was. I was fortunate enough to try the 3-day retreat refresh, the 3-day refresh, which I actually got that. Someone sent that from the US to me a week before Sean Week was to be starting. So that was sort of like a nice sort of way of trying things and then trying a new program as well. So I started getting introduced to that quite sort of late on. And then as soon as I tried that 3-day refresh pack, I was hooked on Shakeology. I mean, I was trying the flavor on there, which was a tropical flavor, which was superb. And then when it was here, I was like, "Where's the tropical flavor? You know, there's no tropical flavor." And I was actually talking a lot about the tropical flavor to people to say, "You guys need to try this amazing flavor," and it didn't turn up in our launch. So that was a bit of a disappointment. But hey, we moved on from there, and the whole launch thing was such a great aspect. Even the build up to the launch, the support that Dare to Dream were giving, and then the people that you actually meet while on Dare to Dream. I mean, I've met so many people I can actually call my friends as well, and I know a lot of people can relate to that sort of aspect as well on that front. And again, I wasn't a social media person. It's only been a year since I've been on Instagram. It's been less than a year that I've been on Facebook, and I'm actually still learning all those things while being a coach as well. And with all that information that our team provides us, it's a huge learning curve, which is something that you just got to embrace. Take everything that comes on board and try not to miss anything. And if you do miss something, it's always available, or just ask. And I'm always that type of person to like, you need to ask questions. It doesn't matter how silly those questions are or how much you repeat those questions. It's always good to ask questions and you'll get the answer. If you don't understand it, you will get an understanding eventually. Someone will explain it in a way for you to understand it. I do that on my day job. I do all of that sort of thing. And I always tell my team at work to say, don't be afraid to ask. And it's just simple that way. And then we actually do get some things done by that in that aspect. So so that was pretty much like how I came about with Beachbody. I knew I wanted to coach straight away. As soon as I hit the launch that happened, it was a no-brainer for me. It wasn't much of a case that, I want to be successful and grow a business out of it. I just liked the term of being a coach to help people. That was ultimately my goal on that front. I didn't understand the rank advancements or anything like that. I mean, that was all new to us. And when it started hitting in, I started thinking, I mean, how is this? I started looking back and thinking, how is this actually working for me? What am I doing at this early stage? And I think it was a case of that I spoke about it at an early stage because I was understanding a few things about it, but then I also knew a few people who were interested in the programs. And it was compared to, like, when I look back and I think there are other coaches out there and other teams who have actually ranked advanced pretty quick, and they had preparation. It was they're in a certain field, like they may have their own sort of fitness gyms or something like that. So it works for them. It's actually easier for them, should I say. And that's a benefit. It's good. But you know what? It can work for anyone. And I clearly, in the UK, I can say I'm a proof of that it can work. And if it's worked for me, it can work for anyone, right? And don't let anything sort of dishearten you on that front. It's not a process that was just gonna it will just be success within overnight or anything. It's a slow process, and it happens at different paces for everybody. It's just making sure that we all learn from one another. That's how I see it, and you be humble about it. That's the main thing. From there, the thing is as well with it. Sorry, I've just got a guest appearance here. You might want to just take that as well so you can hear. I was introduced to the benefits of everything. So I never knew anything about personal development either. And understanding about personal development, I knew it was out there, but I didn't pursue it. And learning about personal development is one of the things which is key. I think that's one of the key ingredients in this whole business. Understand that, and that helps you within yourself as well. And it can help others on that front. So please, if you haven't started personal development, do so on that front. Again, all right. So coming back to like the first month of being a coach, it was quite difficult. Also having sort of the right mindset. You've got to have that determination. You've got all the support. I mean, I've had the support from Romy. She's been fantastic. So it's not just me doing it on my own. So I've been very fortunate that I've had Romy to help me out in this. She initially did say to me, you go and do it on your own. But then as soon as Michael, says 6 months. But then she actually converted within sort of like 2-3 weeks, right? So she knew the benefits straight away. I didn't have to say anything to her. But yeah, that's been really helpful in the success of how things are growing for us. We managed to rank advance in times that we didn't think that we were able to do, and then it's just grown from there. I mean, again, I actually did think to myself when I launched, I goes, this is easy. I can do this, like, overnight kind of thing. But no way, right? I was a fool to even think that, and it doesn't happen. But when it does happen, it's an achievement, and I don't take anything for granted to say, look, I'm the one who achieved it, or Romy and I did it. It's a whole team effort. That's how I see it on that front, and it's nothing to do with an individual aspect here. So what have I actually learned, and what's actually working for us in this one? So key things is obviously understanding the product. If there's a lot of people out there who know Shakeology inside out. Over here in the UK, a lot of people ask about Shakeology. They straight away say, it's a protein shake, things like that. We just have to educate them and make them understand that it's not. They say, I've had a protein shake when I go to work. When I go to the gym. We're like, well, why are you taking that protein shake when you go to the gym? Right? Do you not have enough protein in your diet? What do you have a deficit? What's all these? We ask those sort of questions to them, and they're like, I didn't think of it that way. Or what sort of nutrients are you taking during the day? And people also say, I eat clean. I don't understand when people say I eat clean. I go back to them and say, can you define what your definition of I eat clean is? And so then they explain to me, what are they eating? I said, well, have you ever thought about portion controlling what you're eating? Or have you thought about making sure, changing things here and there kind of thing? And that's what I've learned from the product. That's what I mean. And it's something that I think that we need to explain to people, especially here in the UK. I'm finding that as well. Again, understanding the pricing structure of things as well. People are quite hesitant over that one. But when you look back at it, I mean, I was the same. I was like, this is too expensive. But I'll go away and think about it and think, what, it's actually not. I'm actually doing something for myself and explaining that to these other people. At first, they think, oh, no, they're sort of standoffish. And they are quite here. People in the UK seem to be quite more reserved than in most places. But it's, again, the whole education piece. And they do come back. If you speak to them and you talk to them about Shakeology, and even if it's not within a week or so, they will come back and speak to you about it, because then they'll start seeing what you're doing, the posts, your Insta stories, your Facebook posts, your journey throughout thing, and they do question you on that front. And also, what else have I got? Sorry, I'm just reading through a list of notes that I've sort of fired out here throughout the course of the day. again, let them, when you speak to people like your prospects, let them ask you questions. Don't give them too much information. Don't just throw everything out. It's too much for them to take in. Give them small little snippets of what you're doing, because they actually see things as well if they're on Facebook. And people sometimes like to, they like to, rather than reading things, they like to just visualize things. And that's what I've noticed as well. And by that happening, they'll actually reach out to you a bit more. I mean, they see what you're doing, they see results. I mean, Romy posts pictures of herself, and she actually gets a lot of response than I do. She gets people messaging her on Facebook and things like that more than I do. And then it's a case of working together. It's like, okay, I'll go away and speak to them. So we sort of bounce things off with each other, because we're quite fortunate on that front as well. Again, also, you also need to understand your own market, because everybody seems to have a different sort of area that they go in the market that they work with. So we sort of have a market of people where I've basically created a closed group, an open group sort of on Facebook, where it's like a bucket group, where put everybody in there who I know in there, and then just post regular things and get a lot of traction. Initially, it wasn't working, but then now people are actually commenting and posting on that closed group. So it's not on my timeline or anything. So it's just focused on certain areas, and we're getting responses back from them as well. So it might be an idea for people to do things like that as well. Also now we see there's this whole thing about Instagram as well going on, Insta stories. So use that. I mean, it does work. You see people viewing your Insta stories more than they're actually viewing or liking your posts. So it clearly does work, and it's working for people in their businesses. So it will definitely work for you. You're doing nothing different. You just do the same thing as them in your own way, kind of way. Also, just don't give up on people, right? Just keep things simple. That's the way. Too much information, again, it's not good for them. They'll just run away. But then when you do keep things simple, you will find that they will ask questions back to you. It's like last night we had a lady just messaging us, and Romy said, like, "Oh, all right, shall we respond?" And I said, "No, let's just wait. You'll see her ask you a question." And what happened? Within those few seconds, she just responded by asking questions. I said, "Now we can start a conversation. Don't give too much information." And it works that way, right?
Yeah.
So again, the whole thing, by me seeing everything, so it's remind yourself why you're doing this. Never let yourself be down. I mean, I've had downers. Don't get me wrong, guys. Although I reached Diamond during the Christmas phase, I did feel like quitting at one point. Yeah, and I genuinely thought, this is not for me. This is too difficult. And I had people reminding me. I had Rome here reminding me, "You've only been doing this for a few months. Don't worry." And I did feel like quitting, and I was like, you know what? I need to pack this all in. And that was once I hit the Diamond rank as well, thinking, "Oh, I can't do this anymore." But you just try to remind yourself every day why you're doing this. Okay, everyone has their ups and downs. It just brings a whole spirit about you, and also the whole thing is you learn how to be humble about things as well, and it's a great experience on that front. You learn every day, enjoy it, okay, and again, start to use people as well around you, coaches, your teams. You don't always have to do everything yourself as well, because they will eventually start how you started as well. So you can work together on those sort of things. And as soon as you have people interest, you generate things as you go along as well. And another thing, the last thing I'd like to add is that when you do even have like challenges, or when you have coaches, best thing is also to recognize them constantly, right? Pay them compliments, because even if you've got people who are just challengers in your group and they're not interested in coaching, you give them a compliment. I'm on the tracker, and I have people on the tracker who aren't on Facebook, and they comment, and I automatically go back and I give them a compliment. I always give them compliments, and the response, I come back, we talk, and then once we're talking, the next minute, they're talking to other people outside, and it works. So sometimes social media is not the way. It's word of mouth as well, how you interact with people outside as well. So that's basically what I've learned, and from where I've where I've done and where we are at the moment on this, and we hope to obviously be a little bit more successful. That's our goal for this year. And not quitting.
Love that. Now, did you guys, if anybody had a question for Chetan, you can unmute yourself, or you can even put it in the chat as well. Or Rami, if you wanted to add anything, you definitely can also.
I think the one thing I would say is that, and I know it sounds really cheesy, is that you are proof of the product. So, you know, initially when we started this journey, and then I joined Chetan, was that I was going out, I was talking to people, but nobody was responding because they were saying, well, you're talking to us, but show us, you know, I want to see what you're made of. And it's only until I started seeing the results and the change in my transformation, my body and my mindset, and I started posting, I started to get a really good reaction from people. So actually now people are contacting me. I'm not having to go out to people and, you know, constantly like, you know, come and join our groups, and I will do. But actually what I'm finding is that more and more people are contacting me. But that doesn't mean to say I take my foot off the gas. You know, I still keep pushing. And I'll give you a really good example. So one of the mums at the school, my daughter's school, she was like, I've seen what you do. So we signed one up. We've had another one that signed up, and potentially we've got 3 more that are signing up, and it might just be a challenge pack, but actually, you know, that's really good because they're actually watching what I'm doing. And the other thing I would say is be consistent, be persistent in constantly what you're doing. I think that's what I watched one of the training videos were the 2 things. And as much as we wanted to change and veer off course and go, it's not working, let's try other things, we stuck with our strategy, we stuck with our plan, and we stuck with our goal. And I'm so glad we did that because we're starting to see those small results as well. That's it from me.
I love that. I mean, you guys, what I love about this call, so this is me speaking from 7.5 years in, is everything they just, like, I could have given this call. Like, it is amazing how you have learned all of this in such a short time. And all of it is vital. Like if there's one part you're hearing here where you're like, okay, I'm not buying that. Because that used to be how I would listen to calls. Like, well, I'll take this piece, but I'm going to skip that piece. You know, like that I don't need, but maybe this. Everything you have said is like a piece to the puzzle of success as a coach. And I mean, it's just it blows my mind that you've been a coach for such a short time and you've already experienced all of those lessons and learned all of those lessons. That is amazing. And I have no doubt that will play into your success this year. And like you said, I almost did the exact same thing. I remember hitting diamond, and I remember being like, can I keep doing this? Do I want to keep doing this? Is this sustainable? And you have to kind of learn and tweak as you go, because something you are doing, you do have to change. You do have to do differently, you know, than you did at the beginning. And that just all comes with implementing, getting out there, putting yourself out there. But like you said, as long as you continue to be persistent and consistent and prove the products work, that is just amazing. Did anybody have a question at all for them specifically? Any of you guys? You can definitely unmute yourself if you want. But so much valuable information. If nobody else has anything, then I was going to just close this out because I was thinking even just starting this call and knowing we were going to come back and have these calls, and this plays right in with what Chetan and Rami shared, is I started thinking about a lot of you guys started this journey, especially right now where we're still in the beginning stages. A lot of you already had fitness experience with Beachbody, right? So you did things differently, I feel, than most coaches that start because you already had that belief system. You know, right now, normally when I start a coach, you know, typically, you know, some of them might have already done Beachbody programs, but a lot of people come into the team or come in as challengers just starting their first Beachbody program, right? So they don't believe really in anything. They believe they need results and they aren't getting them, and they see that you're getting results or that the photos you're posting, whether you're sharing someone on the team, there's something that they saw that made them believe in what you're selling, right? So they join. Now you guys started a little bit differently. You already believed in the workouts. Now what you did not believe in was Shakeology, because a lot of you had never tried it. Even as a culture, you know, you all weren't chugging meal replacement shakes, right? So what I started to think was, you know, that is what we really have to make sure that your new coaches in the UK or anyone's coaches in the UK start with building that belief system around the total package. So because I can tell a lot of you have this extreme confidence in inviting to Beachbody On Demand, but when you kind of throw in the whole pack, it can be a little more like, or even with yourself, you know, you might not fully believe in Shakeology yet. So what I found that we have in common is when I started this journey, I did not believe in Shakeology. I did know people were drinking shakes and people were buying shakes though. Now, I'm not sure how you guys feel if people were really doing that in the UK as much. So I at least had that working in my favor, as I knew people would drink a shake. I didn't want to drink a shake. So what was really vital to my journey was first drinking it myself and believing in it myself. And until I got to the place where I loved my shake and it made a difference in my body, I had no business. Because that really was, at least back then, that was our only residual product. That was the only thing that we could really get people consuming on a regular basis to build a business. And there was zero way I was going to be recommending anything I didn't believe in, because that's just the way I'm wired. If I don't believe in something, to be totally honest, I can't do it. I've quit jobs because I'm like, I just can't. Like, I've even I did mortgages for 3 months. And after 3 months, I walked into my boss's office and I literally said, I hate this job. I hate myself. I can't do this anymore. Like, I hate everything about it. So I just can't do it. And he asked me if I would like to become a manager. And I'm like, did you hear me? I hate you. I hate this place. And you want me to manage your people? You know, he didn't care, I guess. He obviously didn't need belief in order to run his business. I did. So I just want to encourage you guys that the more you can learn, the more success stories you can read. I remember early on in my journey, there was a woman who had, I think it was MS, muscular sclerosis. And I'm not making claims. I'm not saying Shakeology cures things, but reading her story of how she was depressed and in the darkness for like a year. She was actually one of my coaches. You remember that, Alicia? That was at that Super Saturday, our first Super Saturday. And I remember sitting there like, you know, to me, I was loving Shakeology. I mean, it made me feel good. I mean, I did love Shakeology, because 2 weeks in, it took me 2 weeks before I loved it. I did not love it until then. I started feeling better. I started feeling alive. It would calm me down. I had a lot of anxiety. It helped me breathe. It helped my cravings. It helped my mood. It was really about my mood. But when I heard this lady where it seemed like it literally changed the course of her life, then it was a little more than like, yay, I'm in a good mood today, to like, okay, this is like really helping people. You know, because maybe my health wasn't so bad that it was making such the life-altering difference, although changing my mood is kind of life-altering. It literally changed this lady's life. It brought her out of depression, helped her with muscular sclerosis, which can leave you bedridden. And that's when it was stories like that early on in my journey that helped me gain that confidence and that belief to go forward, to share in a different way, to be more confident, to believe in Shakeology or in the nutrition plan like I believed in the workouts. Because I was all in the workouts because I had been going to the gym for years and got nothing like the results I got in less time from home. So that was a no-brainer. So like Chetan said, like Rami said, being that proof yourself is going to help you share in an authentic way. And that to me is what this journey is about. That's what makes us different than any other company out there. We aren't just selling coffee or saying like, buy this tea, or, you know, I don't even know what other companies sell anymore. Wrap it around yourself and lose weight. We are selling an experience. We are selling a mental shift that transforms into your entire body, you know? And that to me is why, like you said, Chetan, I'm just going to see, like I said, your call is just amazing. When you come back to your reason why, which is what you have to do, 7.5 years later, after amazing success, I still have to say, why am I doing this? And find a greater reason than a paycheck. Find a greater reason than because I signed up. You know, I have to dig into that deep part of my gut and my heart and say, why am I here? And why do I want to be here? And why am I going to keep going forward? And when you do that consistently, you're going to see results in every area of your life, and you're going to impact a lot of other people. So thank you, Chetan and Rami. That was an amazing call. That was so much. I mean, and it might seem simple, but it's everything. And even the personal development, I thought too, I'm like, I don't need that. I'm positive. I'm happy. Oh, not the same. You need it. So anybody have anything else to add before we go? My husband just got husband points. He brought me a shake.
I would just add in, Jessica, I know you were asking if we'd had anything over here in terms of a shake. The problem we've got is that the MLM wise and social media wise, it had been flooded with Herbalife and Juice Plus for at least the last 2 years. And I've noticed that's starting to die off, but the stigma's still there. So one of my challenges is sharing her journey on Facebook at the moment. And she posted something the other day, and some guy commented and said, oh, well, you better hurry up because those DVDs are going to run out soon. I think it'd be better if you went to the gym. So I just commented, obviously being her coach, and said, well, actually, no, she's not going to run out of DVDs because this is what she's involved in. And like the comments thread started going on, like he was hinting that I was not doing any good for her. Like I was doing something in terms of a Herbalife or a Juice Plus. He was like, oh, I understand the nature of your business. I understand why you're trying to protect it. I said, I don't think you do understand the nature of my business. I don't know if you think I'm in Juice Plus or Herbalife. I'm actually advocating that she eats 6 more meals a day. I'm not getting her to replace any of her meals. And at that point, that kind of stopped the conversation. But that's the thing. There's always going to be people at the moment who have been saturated with the Juice Plus, the Herbalife, and they're going to carry the stigma with them and then poke fun, unfortunately, or comment, because that's the British, unfortunately. They'll try and tear you down rather than build you up. And that's why, as her coach, I just sort of politely went, look, do you want to join her? Like, I can give you a 14-day free trial. Like, you know, if you're interested in knowing what I do and you want to be like, open your mind a bit, then that'll be it. But like, it's even to the point that it's saturated social media that I have a friend who literally every other weekend does a little skit on his post. Like, hi, hon, looking for 5 mums wanting to lose weight before summer. Like, literally does a joke about it every other weekend. And that's why it's still a bit of a problem for us in the UK to try and not infiltrate, but try and obviously sell the passion of what we believe in, because it's still floating about all that stigma with Juice Plus and Herbalife and all of that jazz. So we are having a little bit of a struggle, which is why I think they've reduced the payment, the challenge packs again for the 2nd month running. Because I don't know about the rest of you, but even I'm struggling with that price reduction to get it out. Because one of the chats I was having with the coach earlier is that everyone over here is after a quick fix. Like, if they join a gym, there's no contract, they could just give it up tomorrow. If they buy a 1 month supply of Juice Plus, they can give it up tomorrow. Whereas if I'm saying to them, here's 12 months worth of commitment, that's where they get scared.
So you guys are fear of commitment over there, huh?
It kind of was a bit of an aha moment. I was talking to a coach earlier going, look, no one's interested, but if you promise them some skinny coffee or some booty, which is what we get over here, then they're like, yeah, I'll buy that for 60 quid, no problem.
But you know what, to be totally honest, like everything you're saying is very relatable. I don't know if you're feeling that way, Alicia, but you know, even when I started, that was why I was so upset I was in multi-level marketing, for that very reason. So I'm like, oh Lord, like we just have more companies. Like, so you have mostly Juice Plus, Herbalife. Ours is like, the list is so long. There's Amway. I mean, the list is so long. And like you said, the second you get into an MLM, you're like immediately put in that box where now people are like, okay, I'm just going to make fun of you, or I'm going to go harass you, or I'm going to block you, or I'm going to talk about you behind your back. Like, it's just like, here's this box and you chose to get in it, so you deserve this. Pick up the snowballs. And that's even how I felt. But it's actually very, very relatable, except that there's so many that now it's like complete eye roll. Like, oh, you're in one of those eye roll, you know what I mean? But you know what, and even the quick fix. So what's funny is whenever I started also, we used to have something called the Shakeology Cleanse that someone, I think they just made it up, but it was where you would drink 9 Shakeologies, right, Alicia? 9 in 3 days. So you would drink 9 Shakeologies in 3 days and eat a salad with grilled chicken once per day. And it was called the Shakeology Cleanse. So what we would do is we would buy packets and we would sell Shakeology Cleanses. So I would sell you for like $50. You're going to get 9 packets and you're going to get like the directions. And people would buy those all day long. Why? Because it was a 3-day quick fix. Because that's all they wanted. They didn't care if it said Shakeology, if it said skinny tea, if it said chocolate milk. If you're selling them weight loss in 3 days, they don't care the price, they'll buy it. So I literally would just buy packets all the time. I would sell these things, and then what would happen, they would get results in 3 days. Probably because all they had was 9 shakes and 3 salads. And then they would be like, I want more. And then I realized, oh, you know what? This makes sense. You might as well get a month's supply because it's way more affordable than buying 9 packets for $50. And that was how I started my business. So that is really funny because it's the same. I think, unfortunately, we live in a world of people that want quick fixes. But what's ironic to me, the most part, I'm sorry, I'm just going off on a rant for a second. The most ironic part to me is that people want a quick fix, but then they make fun of MLMs because the stigma is that you make quick and easy money. But they want a quick fix. So then they want to buy the quick fix, but they don't want you to have a quick fix. Do you know what I mean? Not saying that that's what MLM should be or are, and it's not what ours is. But it's like when people even join, what you'll experience as well down the road is people will join your team, the people that say, I don't want to be an MLM. And then what do you say? Guess what? This is different. Wait till you meet the team. Wait till you start investing in yourself and changing your life. This isn't what you think it is. And I get that you think it's this because this is what you've been exposed to. You know, that's what Eric Worre in the book GoPro says. When people say, oh no, an MLM, ask them, you know what? It sounds like you've had a bad experience so far with it. This is going to be different, and here's why. You know what I mean? Because I felt the same way about MLM, so I don't really knock people, and they're like, oh, geez, because that's how I felt. Instead, I'm like, okay, I get why you might feel that way. I felt the same way. But here's why this is different, because all of a sudden, I wasn't sad anymore. All of a sudden, I had a support system. All of a sudden, I wasn't alone. All of a sudden, I was getting results in my body. You know, so yes, MLM, I still might kind of be annoyed if you're in an MLM, but I happen to be in one too, but it's just different. So maybe theirs is different too. I don't know. But all I know is, and that's even from Danny Johnson's book, to always say, I don't know about that, but what I know is, and share your experience, share your heart, because that's what people are going to relate to. But, and what you're going to see is that when people end up joining you as a coach, they might come, this is just something I've experienced. They might come to you and say, you know what? I hate MLM. I don't want to be an MLM. You know, MLM's a scam. I don't want to join you. It's a scam. And then you explain to them, you know what? It's not a scam. You explain why. They join your team, and then what happens? They're a coach for 3 days, and they're like, I haven't made any money. What the heck? I thought I just had to sign up and make money. And you're like, you don't want it to be a scam. If you just signed up and made money, it would be a scam, you know? So it's interesting. But I think it's important to do a couple things. One is do your personal development. So when those things happen, it doesn't seep into your soul and plant seeds of doubt in yourself, because that definitely happens. And that's why you have to build yourself up every day. Number 2, if it's someone that's coming against you regularly, unfriend them. You do not have to deal with haters on social media. I had a guy who I grew up with my entire life. He was the worst. It was like he had on his daily to-do list, go to Jessica's Facebook page and make fun of her, write posts about her, comment on everything she says. And finally, I'm like, hey, guess what? Nathan, block, goodbye. This is my business. You are I am changing people's lives. I'm sorry you think I'm a fraud. I know I'm not. Goodbye. He ended up coming back to me, I think 3 years later, and said, you know what? I didn't look at you as a legitimate business, and I'm sorry. I didn't unblock him, but the message was nice. So I think those 2 things are so important, because unfortunately what you can't do is control other people. Lord knows, I wish I could. I wish we all could, but we can't. But what we can do is protect what has changed our lives. Protect what we believe in, and go and find the people. And you're going to have to sift. It's why they say 3%ers, because 3%ers are going to be ready to rock and roll and change their life. And 97% of people are not ready. They are looking for the quick fix that they aren't even going to do either. They're going to buy that 9 packages of tea, and they're going to take one, and they're going to be like, oh, that was nasty. Oh, you can order pizza? Let's have pizza. So you just can't sweat it. And I know it's so hard, and I know it is tough to sift through the 97% to find the 3, but I also know it's so worth it. So thank you guys for hopping on here, for listening to my rant. And for being amazing, because I love having every single one of you on the team. You are such a huge asset, and we are definitely in this together. And like I said, we're going to do this every month. I'm happy to feature any of you guys, have something if you're ready to share. And like I said, we can have Q&A time. We can do whatever we want. But yay, this was fun. Did you guys have fun?
Yes.
All right. Well, you guys have an amazing night. And if you happen to be awake, at 2 a.m, we will have our Dare to Dream call tonight with Alicia Rose on her birthday. Back again. All right, see you guys.
See ya.
Bye.